Hello, I was, as I often do, looking around YouTube and seeing some various people, like this particular case that kind of led me to making this video at all, where there was a crime scene, a murder crime scene, and she was outside where it was taped off, and she was interfering with things and going under the tape and pushing boundaries and being all obstinate and stuff. And then she finally threw water on a police officer, which is assault, which is, just so silly. But it was all the obnoxiousness. It's not that last straw, and they were putting up with all of this stuff leading up to that point, and they were being, really nice and reasonable and polite and civilized. And ultimately, she ended up getting arrested, and the people upstairs from her, said that she's typically a crazy person and all this stuff. I don't know the validity of any of that, but this behavior I see online and the sob sit stuff and all of these things to me, and the behavior and how people make things much more complicated. And I thought, is this not a sign of mental illness? Like, shouldn't things be being done to help people get out of those kind of headspaces and things that aren't productive for them or society, right? It's one thing to believe things that are different than the rest of society believes. It's another thing where it actually creates so much more difficulty for you because you are getting in the way of other people just being able to live their lives and do their jobs and whatever. It's like all the Karen nonsense, the people freaking out in restaurants, people behaving abysmally, the woman who went up and just pulled down a young girl's skirt because she thought it was too high. There's so much of it. And I get disproportionately, there are a lot more people that don't behave this way. The norm is not to behave this way. But unfortunately, as a society, as we tend to do, we've found a way to monetize the crazy. I'm not sure crazy is the right word, but I'm going to use it in this circumstance. And people will also get a certain amount of fame, notoriety, and fandom from behaving inappropriately and financially. They might make money from that off of YouTube. I don't think people should be allowed to make money when they are promoting things that are very, very negative and detrimental to society. I just think I get the whole free speech thing. I get the whole everything else, but people also should have the right to be free from misinformation and blatant lies. And, people can make mistakes, but then they need to own those mistakes. They can't double down on the mistakes, even when they're proven wrong and things like that. There needs to be consequences. You can't promote the QAnon conspiracy stuff. And then there's a lot more minor things that people just kind of overlook, going, that's not important or whatever. But it's all signs and symptoms of exactly the same thing. And I'm trying to be as honest as I can. And sometimes I may say things incorrectly. I may not have enough information to reach certain conclusions that I have, I have the information to reach the conclusions I have. I don't have any to move beyond that to reach a better conclusion. So that's where I have to keep an open mind. I certainly know that I don't know everything, even in subjects where I feel I know all there is to know about certain topics of certain things. I have come to realize there are experts that genuinely know more than I do, and I either have to dismiss all experts as being full of it, or I have to trust experts that have more information than I do. And it would really help if we could find a way to eliminate as much as we can all the lying, misinformation, disinformation, lying. People can still disagree, but it really has become very problematic, and I really don't know what to do about it. I really have a problem with people that complain that have no solutions. But there needs to be focus on how do we help the people? How do we demonetize situations where people are profiting from tragedies and there's certain things that are just wrong about that. And I think it also needs to go with news accountability and how they do things, that they sensationalize the topics that almost in a way kind of glamorizes them or makes them beyond just the factual. And I get that some of these things are, you need to present in an emotional way, otherwise it just neutralizes the impact. If somebody just said, there's another murder today, bland, that doesn't say anything, but to sit there and go, and there was a blah, 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 trying to give details. I think there's got to be a happy medium where the gravity of the situation can genuinely be reflected without building on the fear and all of those things to sell the advertising, to get the viewership. I don't know how to put any of that into practice. I don't know how, after we've gotten this far with the internet, do you pull back the reins on something? Because if you give people rights and then take them away, well, then you are taking people's rights. So this is just my little rant. I don't know the solution. I wish I had potential solutions, but I sometimes think that people aren't focused on the right parts of the problem. They're focused on the bad behavior as opposed to why is there so much bad behavior, or why are we seeing so much of it, or why is that what people are showing us when there's more examples of better behavior? And all I can come up with is money and notoriety. Those are what's driving people to continue to do this, make more of it, show more of it, and soon we will be overwhelmed by it. And I try my best to consume it in very small doses because I'm just contributing to the problem. But I do like to be aware of what's going on in the world, so I have to at least check out a certain amount of it. But I'm certainly not going to make it something where that is what exclusively or consistently gets introduced in my feed as something they think I want to watch, because I don't. So quite often I will watch things, go in and select the I didn't like it kind of option so that they don't keep referring the same types of things to me. I will seek them out if I want to find them. So anyway, that's my little rant of the day, my little honest tea over coffee. I was so ranty I didn't even have any coffee. So until the next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.